Hi, I'm Bebe.
I'm Stephen.
And we are
Just Another Knitting Podcast.
Welcome back, episode 5. Thanks everyone who's been listening and everyone who's subscribed. We really appreciate it. We're kind of getting up there with our subscriptions, which we think is really awesome. So thank you.
Yes.
Let's just launch straight into it because we've got a lot to talk about today. So we're just going to go straight into what we're wearing. You can start.
Sure, thanks. Today I'm wearing Single Malt by Maxim Cyr, also known as Maxim Cyr. I won't go into detail about it, but it's the first jersey that I actually knit with the yarn intended by the designer. So it was knit with the Les Garçon's British Aran, and I knit it in Carmen's Way as the colour.
Why is it called Carmen's Way? Is that like a TV show or a movie or something?
I honestly don't know. It was kind of like a funky purpley brown, so...
It's a really nice colour.
Yes.
It's a little bit like the colour in my Marie Wallin Bresser.
Yes, it is actually. Maybe a little less brown, but yeah, no, it's a great colour.
And so, is it seed stitch?
No, not seed stitch. It's actually more complicated than that, but I'll run a pattern review on this and talk about it in more depth in another episode.
Fair enough. And I'm wearing my Monday sweater by Petite Knit. So this is also my finished object. So I think I was knitting this in the last episode. I can't remember. But I have had it finished and I've been wearing it. It's been quite cold here in the last week or so I've been kind of hammering it a bit. It's so warm and cozy. It's kind of designed to be a little oversized, so it's quite roomy. I'll stand up so you can see how it looks. So quite roomy and warm. It's knit in DK. The yarn is called Somerset. It's by Wild Earth Yarns, which is a local company. It's they're spun locally and grown locally and dyed locally and sold locally. It's 50% Perrindale, 50% merino yarn. So it's the Perrindale makes it a little bit rustic. So it's not super duper soft, but the trade-off for that, of course, is that it also doesn't pill very much, which is what I'm looking for in a yarn. I don't mind a rustic yarn because I don't mind if it feels a little scratchy. That kind of feels cozy for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. So that's my finished object. I'm very, very happy with this. I knit it for us going overseas, and it will be very nice and warm for that. And my other finished object, I promised you that I would show you the other one of these once I'd finished it, and I have now finished. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Oh, whoop, wrong way around. 2, yay! So these are Arne and Carlos mittens, and the name of which I forget. We'll put it on the screen. These are knit in Bohemia, which is Polworth and Possum. Very soft, very squishy gloves, and I knit these for one of my staff members at work who had lost. I made her a pair. She lost one of them, so I said I'd replace them for her. So they are now finished. Fun story. I knit them both, and I do not know how this happened, but one of them was very clearly a size larger than the other, and I still don't know how I managed to change my gauge. I know I didn't change my needle because I went from needle to needle between one and the other, so I know I knit them on the same needle. But even now you can I can see, probably no one else would ever see that.
Not now.
They are actually,
you hold it like that.
Yeah, slightly different sizes. It's just so weird to me, but it was very clearly I knit them at different gauge. So what I did was I knit one. It was bigger than when I knit the second one, and then I went back to the first one because I liked the gauge of the second one better, and basically unraveled it down to the thumb because I thought I couldn't be bothered dealing with it, the thumb part again. And then knit it back up again at the same gauge. So the little bit of different size difference now is just because from the bottom part, the gauge being different. But at least they're closer than they were before. Yeah. They were quite different sizes before. So that was a bit of a pain. And I also finished the hat that I was knitting that I showed in the last episode that I was knitting for that same workmate's friend that she was going to give to her friend for her birthday, which she did, which she loved a new hat. So I don't have that. That went off the needles and out the door straight away, but it is finished.
Well done.
Yeah, so they are my finished objects. I feel like I've been knitting a lot and not actually getting any finished objects.
You and me both.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. It's a great segue. So what have you been doing?
Strangely enough, Troutbeck.
Oh my goodness.
And more Troutbeck.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's barely spoken to me, folks, for about, I don't know, 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
This weekend, he's just been head down doing that the whole time.
Yeah, we're on a knitting crunch at the moment, I guess. So we're only a few days out from leaving, and I've been trying very hard to get it finished. I did hope to be sitting here.
Did he make it or did he not?
I did hope to be sitting here wearing it.
He did not.
No. I'm close. I could possibly finish it tonight. So
show us.
Okay, so...
You're going to love it, guys.
Okay, so I have an arm.
Oh, yeah. Look, a whole arm.
Look, there's an arm.
Seamed.
Yeah, it's seamed. See, it even goes up.
Like an arm does.
Like an arm.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, I have a body with a neck band. So here's the body. Here we go. And it's got an arm, albeit maybe the arm's attached with clips. So yeah, right now I still have to set in the sleeves.
Yeah,
and
that takes ages.
It's going to be a bit of a challenge too, because the armholes are quite large and the sleeves are maybe not quite as large.
Oh.
So
how did that happen?
I actually don't know. I've knit it to pattern. So I might need to either block it a bit or really just be a bit careful with how I seam it, and then block it out afterwards.
Andrea Mowry was talking about this recently, and she was saying to do it in like 20 stitch increments and check each time and just like go, okay, this 20 stitches goes with this 20 stitches, and then when you get to there, stop. So use those clips. Yeah,
so that's what I'm doing effectively is I've effectively pre-positioned everything here with the clips, so I know roughly where it should go. I've tried it on, and once I'm about ready to start really. Hopefully I won't have to do much in the way of unraveling, but it should be okay, so I'm reasonably confident. So that's Troutbeck. I've also finished all the ends last night. There were a lot of ends.
That was like almost a week of ends.
It did take quite a long time.
Like what? How many days? Like 4 days of just ends?
Maybe about 4 days, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. So I haven't mounted them, so I'm going to keep the photos of the ends for a bit of posterity, just to remind me.
Pile about this big.
Yeah, and I was learning how to make felted buttons on a side tangent, one of Alice Starmore's little project craft courses. So I think I'm going to be using a lot of ends to stuff my buttons. So we'll see.
Okay, all right. I never thought I'd hear you say that.
No, I guess it's not
using ends to stuff my buttons.
No.
All right.
But anyway, that's Troutbeck. It's been a mission and a half, that's for sure.
It's been a labour of love for months, and it's going to be so amazing to be able to wear it in Shetland in that part of the world.
Yeah. If we weren't going to Shetland, I wouldn't be trying quite so hard. I would not have been half as monogamous as I am. I would have probably had about 2 or 3 other WIPs I'd be working on as well. So.
It'll be a bit of a showstopper, I think, for people. I mean, people are used to seeing Fair Isle jumpers, I guess, in that part of the world. But I think having that walking around will be impressive. And I think we should count the number of people who ask if I knitted it for you.
It'll be a fun game. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
All right, what's next? Shall I talk about my works in progress? Okay, so I also have a Marie Wallin. I had no intention of finishing mine in advance of going to Shetland, so I kind of paused it while I was trying to get other things finished. But so this is where mine is up to. So it's all of the body is finished and all the ends are woven in. I just need to seam the tops, and then it's got a steek. So get the steek finished, get the steek done, and then put in the sleeves. And I've decided I'll wait until I get back to do that. I'll be inspired while I'm away by all the colour work, and I'll come back and finish that, and it'll be just in time for our summer in that standard colour work worsted weight jumper. Perfect. So I'm in no hurry, mostly for that reason, to get that one finished. It's not something I'll be wearing until next winter, and I have so many other things. I mentioned this last episode that I have so many things that I need to get finished out of my queue before I go. So shall I keep
going?
Cracking on with my WIPs?
Yeah, I've been fairly
monogamous
and
monotonous, guys.
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
Not a lot of options.
So I also have, you may have seen this before, I can't remember if I've showed it. This is the Traveller Shawl by, I think I have shown this, Andrea Mowry. So I'm knitting this for my daughter. I got it up to the point of sleeve separation, and I didn't want to do any more until I was able to knit on it monogamously to get that bit done, because I find it quite difficult to pick something up and then know where I'm up to. So I know where I'm up to if I know I've finished a whole part of the pattern and I'm on a new piece of the pattern. So I'm leaving this one as well. It's not coming with me, so I thought I would leave it at a place where I know how to pick it up. And so that's staying home in the naughty corner with the other one until I get back. And then I'm also knitting another hat for another one of my workmates. So this is for Joseph, who I work with, and his girlfriend I also work with, asked if I would make Joseph a hat for his birthday. He doesn't know he's getting a hat. So this is the Tin Can Knits Everyday Beanie. Super easy. It's a 1x1 rib. It's knit in Vespers, which is the same yarn as I knit the other one in. So Vespers is this one here actually. So it's Burnt Hill Yarn Company. Hopefully you can see that. 100% New Zealand merino wool, very soft, very squishy, great for baby knits, but also good for hats.
How long have you been knitting on that?
I started this yesterday, and oh my gosh, I've had such a busy weekend. I've hardly had any knitting time. I really, really wanted to get it finished for the podcast, but I've been literally out all day yesterday and all day today. So it's mostly just kind of on the fly knitting over the last 2 days. So I will get this finished today, though. I'll get it blocked, and so Joseph will have that for his birthday during the week. So yay! And then I also just, went on a bit of a side tangent during the week.
As you do.
As you do. I was going to say first, actually, before I get to this one, the Tin Can Knits app is amazing. They have a app that you can download on your phone, and I've been using it to make the hat. And in the Tin Can Knits patterns, they have, I think I've said this already, they have bazillion sizes, but it allows you just to focus in on the style you want and the size you want. So I was able to kind of dial in, I want the DK version, I want the 1x1 rib version, and I want the large size. That's what I'm doing. And then it just shows all of the instructions for exactly what you're knitting, and I just find it so helpful. And also it does the row counting for you, so I go I've finished row 1, I've finished row 2 as you're doing the decreases, so I'm able to make it without it making a mistake.
So it gives you different patterns on the fly for different weights of yarn.
Yeah, so this one has fingering weight, DK weight, and worsted weight hat.
Right. But it's the same hat.
Same hat. Well, kind of, because I could knit a 3x1 rib worsted weight version of this hat and it wouldn't look the same, but It is actually the same pattern with the same numbers in it.
Okay. Well, that's pretty clever.
Oh, it's pretty amazing. I love it a lot. I use it tons. And actually I'm quite keen to do a bit of a chat separately at some time about Tin Can Knits and their how to make a yoked sweater guide. They've got a whole book on it, which is really amazing. But let's not get distracted with that now.
No.
Let's talk about this. So this is knitting for Olive, and it's called the Pippi Poncho. I'm knitting this for my daughter's niece called Tilly, and she's just a little over 1. And so I just wanted to make a little something, and almost finished. I hate doing pickups. Like, I really, really hate doing pickups. And this is pickups in decreases. And so it kind of slowed me down. And that's when I started on the hat instead. Even though I've actually done the pickup for this one and I'm partway through the ribbing. I was like, oh, after I finish this, I'm going to have to do more picking up. So I paused on this. But this will get picked back up tomorrow because I really want to get this finished, blocked, and handed over to my daughter to give to her niece as soon as before I leave. So that will be done also before I go. And yeah, that's all my WIPs. I do have a sock, but we don't need to talk about my sock. It's the same sock I had last time.
No, probably not then. There's always a sock.
I always have a sock.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll talk about things that we've bought in the last couple of weeks.
Acquisitions. You start.
I'll start. Yes. We had a small discovery. We went into our local yarn shop, Wild Earth Yarns, on a Saturday, and discovered that they have just introduced some recycled yarn. So
they've had it for a while, but they brought in new colours. So,
yes.
That's the original one.
Right. So yeah, the thing about this is it's a blend of effectively offcuts and offshoots of the different types of yarn. So I think there's merino and sock yarn and all sorts of stuff in here.
Yeah, so they because they have a mill where they spin all the yarn, they take all of the leftovers from the process, and then they put them all together, and then they respin it into this recycled yarn. So it's mostly merino, but it's got some other bits in it as well.
Yes, so we haven't knit anything with this yet, but we're really quite keen to give it a good go, because if you have a close look at the colours, I think...
So that's a grey. So, well, this is the interesting story. So when they first started, I'm just aware that you're rustling that bag right beside the microphone.
I know.
When they first started, they just had kind of a grey colour with flecks of colour, and now what they've done is they've been sorting their yarns a little bit more so that they can actually make recycled in colourways. So that's the story behind that.
Right, so here's the darker one. I'm not sure if you can see quite... It's got a good variation of colour, or you know, by colour I mean grey. So it's almost tweedy.
Yeah, it is tweedy.
In a sense, but without the sort of the heavy colour variations. So it's a real nice variegation. And then the other one...
This is mine.
Yep, that's Bebe's.
This one's beautiful. It's pink, but it's got kind of tinges of purple and blue and red and yellow and orange in it. It looks like a sunset. It's magnificent.
And I guess the thing is, the yarn itself is merino, and I'm not sure if you noticed the price on there, but that was $35.
Oh, that's the old price. So the new price is $40.
$40 for 10 balls of yarn, and it looks like, so yeah, 500 grams, so 50 gram balls.
Yeah.
So that's only like $3.50 a ball, or $4 a ball, which really...
Very affordable yarn. I don't know what you pay for yarn where you are, but for us, we'd happily pay. Well, I mean, I would happily pay $20 for a ball of 50 grams.
Yeah.
For good yarn.
And if we were doing some rough conversions into, say, US dollars, you might be looking at, say, $2 US per ball.
Yeah, and about the same for the UK pound.
Yeah. And the yarn's soft. It's squishy. It's going to be a real fun experiment to see how it knits up.
Yeah, so I'm going to use my one to make the Storm Sweater by Petite Knit. I'm really looking forward to making this. One of my Knit Night gals is making one at the moment, and it's gorgeous, and I can't wait to cast that on, but it will have to wait until I get back.
Yeah, this is all post-trip knitting.
Yeah. And I'm really trying not to buy yarn for things that I'm not immediately going to knit, but we couldn't pass this up.
No.
And they were having a sale, speaking of things that we
your
bought
turn.
from there. So I bought a sweater quantity of this. It was a second, so it had, when they put it through the mill, it had flecks of other colour in it, which I can barely see. It's definitely there, but gosh, it's beautiful. So this is 100% Polworth. Is it? It's woolen spun DK weight yarn, and it's such a vibrant, beautiful yellow. So I've got a whole sweater quantity of this. And honestly, I've been sitting in this room looking at this yarn since I got it, just, spending it in 100 different ways. What am I going to knit with it? I can't wait to knit with this. It's absolutely beautiful. So I got a sweater quantity of that.
Well done. Nice. Look forward to seeing what you do with it.
Yeah. What else did we get it? Does that cover it?
I think that covers our acquisitions.
Oh, I bought some sock yarn, but I buy a lot of sock yarn. It's not that exciting.
Yeah. So really it just comes down to our trip coming up and what we're planning to knit and what we're going to take.
All right, let's get into it. Oh, one thing I did want to say before we move on is that one of the acquisitions I had was I bought during the week this. So I bought the Chiaogoo interchangeable set. I have used Mindful Needles since they came out, probably like over a year ago. The metal tipped interchangeable needles. Do I actually have any here? No. Somehow I don't have any in front of me. So I use that. I've been using the Mindful set for ages and I love them. And before that I was using mostly wooden needles. And I thought I was set with the Mindfuls. And you use... What do you
use the Zings.
Yeah, Zings. So also the Knit Pro. They're both Knit Pro products. So the
Yeah.
Zings are like a little heavier and not as pointy. The Mindful are lighter weight and a pointier tip.
I mean the Zings are, I think, are they introductory needles? I'm not sure. They seem to be the go-to first needles, metal needles, interchangeables.
The thing I like about the Zings is that they are different sizes. So I have a propensity towards knitting on 2 different size needles at the same time accidentally, or picking up and knitting with the wrong size needles. I swear I didn't do that with the glove, but I may have, because I get distracted and just want to get into the knitting. And so the Zings are all different colours.
That's right.
So they look like purple and red and yellow and whatever. And so it would be a lot harder to accidentally mess that up.
Yes, although some of them are similar and sometimes I may have selected the wrong needle.
That has happened.
Yeah. But no, I particularly like them because they're not pointy. My knitting style usually has me, pushing the needle away with the tip of my finger, and after a while it gets quite sore. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise that was why. I don't use the tips of my fingers on my needles.
And I find that the pointier the needle as well, my gauge tightens up because I usually just knit on the tips.
Oh.
So. Yep.
So anyway, I got these Chiaogoos. I had actually got a set of the mini ones that I use for... here, the sock can make an appearance. Excuse me. So I had these teeny tiny ones that I've been using for the socks. So I got the set. There's a little set that comes in a red pouch from the same knitting buddy who is knitting the Storm sweater actually. A wee while ago, and I really, really like the way they felt. They're actually, I think, pointier than the Mindful ones, and the cables are really nice. They have this, the cable is quite different than the Mindfuls. It's more, it doesn't have any memory, so it doesn't curl up on itself at all, whereas the Mindful ones do. And the connectors are different, and it's been really irritating me. The connectors on the Mindfuls, they stick, and I use Magic Loop, and doing Magic Loop when your cables are sticking is just really frustrating. And so I thought I'd give the Chiaogoo long fixed needles, the long cabled fixed needles a go, and so I did that, and I was like, these are beautiful. I want to try some more. So then I tried the minis, the teeny tiny little ones, and then I got the set, which is the so these are, it comes in US 2 to US 8, which is 2.75 to 5. Although it doesn't have the size 3, which is the one I knit all the time with.
It's a little bit odd.
It's very strange. You had to buy that separate. So yeah, I got a whole set of these right up to the size 5s. Yay. And then I actually bought some additional, because I often knit with 5.5s or 6s. So I got those separately as well. So I can put them in my kit, which I'll be bringing with me. And then I because I don't do anything by halves, I also bought the the shorties of the bigger sizes, so from the 3 to the 5 as well, which is a different set. So yeah, now I've like completely changed from mindfuls to Chiaogoos in 1 week, and I'm loving it. So I'm knitting, for example, my hat on these ones, and just the cables are just divine. And see how they have these connectors, so you can connect the cables together.
Right.
Instead of having to have a bazillion cables, which I have with the mindfuls. I have really doubled down on mindfuls. I've got so many cables. And I think I will knit with both sets of needles. Like, I always have the need for more than one of each size, because I'm often
Plenty of WIPs.
switching out. Well, I don't usually have tons of WIPs, but suddenly I've become a person that knits on lots of things. Anyway, so that was my other acquisition, was to buy the set. They're not cheap, so that set me back a couple of $100 for that set. But oh my gosh, they're so good. I love them. I'm really looking forward to knitting all the things on them.
Great.
So now shall we talk about what our knitting plans are while we're away?
Yep, sure.
So first of all, the first thing to consider is there's a couple of things. What we're knitting on the plane, what I'm knitting, and you're not going to be knitting on the no.
I'll probably be sleeping.
Watching movies and sleeping, whereas I will knit on the plane. I really enjoy that. So not taking any metal tips, just bought new needles, don't want to have them taken off me at some point. And the thing is that I can ring my own. I know what our local airline is like, but because we're traveling through Singapore and we're going on all these other airlines, I don't feel comfortable knowing what their security is going to be like. So
you just don't want to get it wrong.
Don't want to risk it, and so I have a set of. I think I have them here actually somewhere. Oh, I do, but no, I can't reach them. I have Lantern Moon needles, which are also Knit Pro, and I have Knit Pro Symphonies, and I really like both of those. So I'll probably take a combination of my Lantern Moons and my Symphonies to knit on the plane. Mm-hmm. Should I talk about what I'm going to knit on the plane, or do you want to talk about what? I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Well, Troutbeck.
You're not going to be knitting Troutbeck. You're going to be wearing Troutbeck.
No, hopefully I'll be wearing Troutbeck, but no. Mine is just very short. I'm going to take one set of needles, and I'm going to have a go at knitting you some gloves from the Briodag.
Are they gloves or are they mittens?
They have individual
gloves.
They have individual fingers, but no tips.
Oh, because they're fingerless gloves.
Yes, so the fingerless gloves, but not mittens. No.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to take. I don't anticipate doing a great deal of knitting. I do anticipate doing a great deal of yarn browsing and accessory browsing and maybe purchasing.
I'm going to be doing that as well as knitting.
But I think I'll be focused on other things.
All right. So I have lots of plans. Not surprising.
No,
so
not at all.
I've got my on the plane ideas, and then I've got what I'm going to knit while I'm actually traveling. On the plane, I want to knit a jersey, a hat to match my jersey. So I have some leftover of the yarn, which I have up here, which is the Somerset DK. And so I'm going to knit the, I've completely forgotten what it is. I'll put it in after, actually. If you unlock your phone, I can look at my queue. One moment, callers, while I have a look at what this one is called. So I'm going to knit the My Baker's Hat, I don't know why it's called that, by Emily Russell, which is just a plain 1x1 rib brim and then plain stockinette on the top. And I thought that would be nice and easy, and I don't own a hat that looks like that, so I'm excited. Most of mine are all rib or colour work or cables or something fancy, because I often use hats to practice new things, and so that's what I was doing. So I have all these fancy hats, but I actually just want a plain and simple hat, and I like the idea of having hats that match my jumpers.
Excellent.
So I'm going to have like 50 hats to go with every jumper I own. That'll be just super normal. And then, so that's on the plain, and I'm thinking I might bring one other thing because I knit quite quickly, and that might not actually last me all the way to the UK because it's about 40 hours of travel. So then I'm thinking I've got some other options, and I'm not sure what I want to knit as my other option. So I can bring a shawl. So I'm currently knitting on what's it called? Oh, I have the pattern here. Small fry. And I've cast that on and I've started it, so I could bring that. That's a whip that that's like, I haven't talked about that. It's actually right behind you at the moment.
That's right. I could think of something else you've forgotten to talk about as well. But
What else have I forgotten?
friend.
Oh, I completely forgot about it. Oh, yeah. I'll go get that in a sec. And yeah, so I'm going to knit, I think I'm going to knit a shawl. The other option for a shawl is the Sophie wrap, I think it's called. So there's the Sophie scarf, which is tiny, and then there's the wrap, which is bigger. And so I was thinking of maybe I could knit that one as well. So haven't decided on that yet, but I have to knit something I actually want to wear while I'm away. So it has to be a shawl that I actually want to wear. So I'll have a think about that. And then I also, in my luggage, needed to think about, I want to bring something that I want to knit while I'm away, that I want to finish and wear while I'm away, but also that doesn't take up too much space. So like I can't bring a colourwork sweater with me because it will take up so much, all the yarn will take up too much space. So I've decided, yay, I did the swatch for my Brume. This is the Odang DK, which I showed in a previous episode. So this is the colourway is called, it's green, bitch. Excuse my language, but that's what it's called. Yeah, and it's DK alpaca, and the pattern, which is the Brume by Andrea Mowry, is designed for this yarn. So I'm really keen to knit this, and I can get a whole sweater out of, and like it's got a nice neckline, and it's just a raglan out of 3 balls of this. It's lightweight, it'll pack up small, and then it should be nice to knit. It's not actually that pleasant to knit it because it's so bobbly and weird, but it will make a really nice warm lightweight jumper for me to wear while I'm away. And I left the thing of the moment in the other room, so I'm going to have to go get it. So you have to just like, I don't know what that's called, fluffing, whatever that's called, while I'm out of the room. I'll be back. I'm coming back in a second.
Bye. So yeah, what am I doing while I'm away? Well, my plane trip is probably going to be a Fast and the Furious mega marathon. They usually have movies 1 to 10. I think last time we went I managed to get up to about movie number 6. So I'm going to see if I can go the entire way this time. I still haven't seen the last few, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so there we go. That's very non-knitting related.
Oh, what were you talking about?
No, you'll find out when you watch it back. To your horror.
Oh God. Okay, so ta-da! Guys! I knit frame your face. So if you haven't heard the saga, I'll repeat it again quickly. But I had knit the framed sweater when it first came out. I bought it the day what?
Can't see it because your hands are in the way.
Yeah, I'm going to take it off and show it in a sec. I knit the framed sweater. I got it the day it came out and started knitting it straight away in this yarn, in this colour. And then I had finished the whole thing and the whole body of it, including knitting colourwork flat, which I did not enjoy one little bit, and had picked up and knit half the first sleeve, left it in my car. My car got broken into, the jumper got stolen. So that was the end of the jumper. And because I had not really enjoyed knitting it, I decided I wasn't going to knit another. But we're going to Rhinebeck, so I really wanted a Rhinebeck sweater. And then a couple of weeks later, Andrea came out with the Frame Your Face cowl. And said, well, you could wear this at Rhinebeck and we can get a photo of this instead. So I thought, oh, well, I'll just knit this. And this was so much more pleasant to knit. Like, the pattern is lovely, but it was the colourwork flat that it just about killed me, honestly. Yeah, I love it. It's soft, it's squishy, it's going to be so warm. It will be very much worn while I'm away. It'll be great in the icy northern wind in Shetland. Yeah, I'm so pleased. It didn't take me long to knit it either. It was like a week. Yeah. Maybe less. I don't know.
I think too it's striking enough that when you're wearing it in Shetland, it'll be easy enough to pick you out of a crowd. I do like it when you have something that's really visible. I am suspicious though that once you hit Rhinebeck, it may be blending in. Yeah.
So the story of this too was that I really wanted to knit it in a New Zealand yarn. So rather than knitting it in what Andrea was suggesting, which was spin cycle, which I really love to knit with, I did want to make it in a New Zealand yarn because if I'm going to travel overseas and wear it, then I wanted to. So this is also from Wild Earth yarn. It's very soft, beautiful yarn, and woolen spun. And I also when I was knitting it, it was Matariki, which is like our midwinter Christmas in New Zealand, and I wanted something that represented the Matariki stars, which I think this does really well, kind of the cozy midwinter vibe of, you know, the idea of quilted, and it has stars in it. Yeah, so I'm really glad that I have it. I'm really glad I don't have to knit the other one. I suspect that Andrea will probably come out with other patterns in this motif. So I'm really hoping that she comes out with something that doesn't make me want to poke my eyes out when I have to knit it, and then I'll knit other versions of it.
I did recall the mention of a cardigan.
Oh my god, I'm not doing
which
that.
Which would be next level.
If it's steeked, and I'm not really prepared either. I know people are probably thinking to themselves, well, I mean, you can just add the steek in, even if it doesn't have it in the pattern. I'm just not a confident enough knitter to be able to add things into a pattern that way. Stephen would be doing a lot of maths to make that happen, and I don't know, I just feel like my knitting life is too short to, like, there's so many good patterns out there that if it's not the pattern I want, it's not the way that they designed it, I'll just find something else, and that's fine.
Yeah, maybe wait till you've knit all the things and then start on that.
All the things.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, I've been wearing it all week. It's super snuggly. I'm so happy with it. It's now too warm here to wear it, but it's perfect for when we go away, which is, by the way, by the time people see this, we'll be gone because we're going to edit this during the week.
We'll probably be on a plane.
Yeah, we'll be in the air. So, yeah, say goodbye to us because we're on our way to Singapore right now.
Yeah.
What else do we want to talk about?
I think that pretty much covered it.
Oh no, the rest of my
you still had more
knitting plans.
Oh, knitting plans for Shetland itself. We only got as far as the plane.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so I'm going to knit my Odang DK, the Brume sweater, but I want to knit a hat for Stephen. So continuing the Tin Can Knits theme, I bought from another local yarn shop here called Unwind and Knit with Me, and she also Unwind and Knit also has a podcast. Lisa has a podcast also. I went to visit her and got some John Arbon yarn from her a wee while ago to knit a jumper, which I have knit and I absolutely love. And she had this there when I was there, and I had to have it. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's actually kind of hard to see. I'm not even going to bother trying to do it so it's focusing on us. But it's beautifully, it glows and it's got beautiful colours in it. It's called Yarnadelic. If you know John Arbon Textiles, you'll know the yarn. It's a sport weight yarn and it's made in Devon in the UK, called Moonage Daydream. Moonage. And it's this is Falklands Corriedale, 100%. And the colourway was designed by Emily from Tinky Knits.
Right.
Yeah, that's the connection. Anyway, so short story long.
I'm getting a hat.
I'm knitting Stephen a hat with this, so I want to start it before we go. It's a cable hat, so it'll be probably too complicated for the plane, but it will be really good car knitting, I think. It won't take me long to knit, so I'm keen to start it before we go, but then put it in Stephen's luggage because it's his damn hat. And I'm going to knit the Kisa by Sari Nordlin. So Stephen chose the hat that will be knit, and the idea is that I'll knit it as quickly as I can, either while I'm here, so it'll be the next thing I cast on once I've finished the other hat and the little Pippi poncho, and I'll try and get it finished before we go, but it'll probably still be a WIP when we leave, and then I'll just continue it and finish it while we're travelling around Scotland, so that you have it for when we're in Shetland.
Yay.
Yeah, as soon as I can get it finished, you'll get it. I will try and finish it before we go, but it just depends on how many cables and how complicated it is.
Yeah.
And you've
Thank
got
you.
a very large head, so, it's a lot of stitches.
That's the maths.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's all my plans. And then I think, so let's talk a little bit about the trip itself.
Right.
I know we're running a little bit long. I'm trying to talk fast.
Okay.
So do you want to do the run through of where we're going?
Sure, I can do that. So just very quickly, we're starting off obviously here in Christchurch in New Zealand. We have a quick domestic flight up to Auckland, which is the major exit point for international flights in New Zealand. Then we're flying to Heathrow via Singapore. Once we get to Heathrow, we are planning on taking a train to Glasgow. So
we have an overnight in London, so we're going to go to Euston Station, stay the night in town, and then travel up to Glasgow. Yeah.
At which point we're picking a car up and heading off to Oban. So we've got a wee boat tour planned for Oban. We're both history enthusiasts.
Yeah.
We
like a castle.
Yeah, we like a good castle. Yeah. So
ruins of fun.
Yeah, where are we off to? Iona.
Yeah. And Mull.
And Mull. Yep. So, and then we've got a few days where we haven't really got fixed plans. So we're going to tour the Highlands, spend some time, probably decide where we go once we get there.
In the kind of northeast.
Yeah. Northwest. But we'll make our way across to Aberdeen, at which point we're getting on a ferry heading up to the Shetland Islands in Woolwich.
17 hours on a ferry on the North Sea. I have seasickness pills.
It's going to be
get very seasick.
It's going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Then from Shetland we're heading back to Orkney.
Which is my childhood dream, to go to Orkney.
Yeah. So we've already booked Skara Brae. So just random things that we decide we want to do that we've always wanted to. So from the Orkneys, we're going back to Edinburgh, spend some time, hopefully catch up with some friends there. And then once we're finished with Scotland, we are flying to Oslo in Norway. Then we go from
So we've got like 3 days, I think, in Oslo. Just enough time to see all of the Petite things.
All right. Is that why we're going? Oh, you were quite insistent.
Yeah.
No, we do want to go to Norway, but
sampling the yarns of Norway.
but yeah, we need to. We're sampling Norway basically, and then from there we're going to Hamburg, and Germany down to Frankfurt, and then
because Frankfurt's a major hub for the Star Alliance, which is what Air New Zealand is, and that will get us back over our side of the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except we're not going back to our side of the world. We're going to New York.
And upstate New York.
Upstate New York to Rhinebeck.
Yeah.
So, and then once we've finished at Rhinebeck and that's all over, back to New York for a few days and then finally home. So
yeah, and it's a flight straight from New York to back to Auckland and then back to Christchurch.
Yep, and then that's our trip. So it should take us about a month. So that's how long we're going to be away for.
And acquisition plans. So we do have a tour of Jameson's booked, the mill in Shetland, as a part of Wool Week. We haven't booked any other classes or anything. I'm not really a classes people, and I don't think you are. Yeah, so we're just keen to kind of mooch around and have a look at things and do our own thing a little bit, just in amongst all of the other people and looking at all the yarns. I'm super excited to be able to see the Jameson's yarn. I really love it. I have some here actually. So yeah, I have little bits and bobs of it, and I really love this yarn. Feels like the yarn I'm wearing. If you know Jameson's yarn, it's rustic but also quite soft, I think. Yeah, so I'm really excited to be able to purchase some of that yarn. And I suspect that what we will do is purchase the yarn, because I want to be able to look at it and look at all the colours, and maybe even purchase a kit, but then have it shipped back to us. And I'm assuming that you can pay for shipping. I mean, because we could actually literally buy it online and pay for shipping. So presumably you can just pay extra for shipping and they'll ship it home to you. So... and then we can race to see who gets home first.
Yeah, us or the yarn. Excellent. That'll be a fun game.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm hoping a few places will be able to do that if we see something that takes our fancy. Other than little skeins of this and that you buy when you're travelling, it would be nice to be able to ship yarn back if we buy a sweater quantity or more of something, rather than, especially when we're in Shetland, because it's the first kind of place we're going, and like having to carry that the rest of the way would be a bit of a pain.
That's true.
Yeah. And then I'm keen to, as I said, check out the Petite knit stuff in Norway and all of the kind of Scandinavian yarns that they have. So, you know, I've been kind of playing with a little bit of the Isia, but having a good squish of all the yarns will be good. And then obviously Rhinebeck I'll probably buy a skein or two of this or that, who knows what. Anyway, so that's kind of what I'm thinking yarn wise. We're kind of spoiled for choice in New Zealand. Like, there is a lot of really good yarn and we have access to the world, so we kind of buy whatever we want within reason, obviously. Is there a within reason? We literally just buy whatever we want, don't
I
we?
would say that, yeah.
Yeah, we do. So the yarn itself is probably not that exciting because we can buy it online. I just like the idea of being able to look at things, look at the colours, and really kind of squish the yarn before I buy it. And I really like, even if I don't buy it, I know I can come home and I know what that yarn is. I know the thickness of it and get a sense of how it all knit up. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to being able to really sample a bunch of stuff and maybe buy a ball of something, bring it home, and then if we want to buy a square quantity, we can do that. And shipping it's not great, but it's okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's our plans, and I think we've probably run a bit long for this episode, so we probably should wind up.
Yeah.
And it's getting quite late here now. We've waited until Sunday evening to film this. It's been a busy weekend. We've had the grandkids staying and we've done tons of different activities. So yeah, it's Sunday evening now, and we're now surrounded by knitwear and yarn, so we're to tidy up before we head into our evening.
Yeah.
And so the next time you see us, we will be overseas, what we will do, we've got a bit of a filming kit. We've practiced using it on the go, and we will film as we go. So we'll film the whole trip over, what we're doing while we're traveling, and then we'll film various kind of little bits and snippets while we're looking at various things. You know, when we're in Jameson's, hopefully we can film in the tour, and we'll try and do a podcast episode as well while we're away, just to keep you all entertained, so you can come along with us. That'll be exciting. So you'll get various travel stuff. We'll keep all of the castles and abbeys separate, because that's, you know, a bit more niche for
Not
some
everyone's
people
cup
who
of
like
tea.
both castles and knitting. That's probably quite a small group of people, I imagine. Maybe not. Do tell us if you like them both. And so we plan to both on the YouTube channel, but also on my Instagram, which we can tell you what that is. I'll post tons of stuff on Instagram as well, so to keep everyone in the loop about what we're up to when we're away.
Awesome. Okay, well then, thanks for joining us. Thanks for making it this far, and
don't forget to subscribe if you like what you see. It would be really helpful to get our subscription numbers up. You don't have to, but we appreciate it if you do.
And if you've made it that far, and maybe a like.
Yeah.
So,
apparently that helps something as well.
Yeah. And a comment. We like a comment.
Oh yeah, I love hearing from you all and what you think about what we're talking about, and also, you know, more about yourselves. I'm super curious. Some people say nosy, but I say curious. So I like interacting with people in the comments.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for joining us.
And we'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.
Ka kite.